I was raised in a world steeped in peace. A Taoist household, full of philosophical conversations, beatnik poets, and bohemian ideals. My parents were the epitome of nonviolence, running a coffee shop where people gathered to talk about art, life, and everything in between. We didn't believe in violence. We believed in compassion, understanding, and patience. Yet, my life would change in ways I never expected, and that idealistic view of the world would be shattered forever. My name is Scott, and this is my story. About 30 years ago, there was a man in my town, Madison, Georgia, someone who, by all outward appearances, seemed to be just another lost soul. But underneath that facade was a predator, someone who preyed on the women and girls in the community. His father was the judge. His father was the mayor. And with that kind of power, nothing could touch him. No one ever questioned him, and even when he did the unthinkable, no one cared. Keep in mind, this was an era of the mindset if a woman got abused sexually, it was always her fault as she was asking for it. So he never spent 1 minute behind bars. I have been hearing many stories about him, and how he will brag that he was untouchable. He did many teenage girls back then a lot of damage. He was a complete nuisance, from bullying to robbing and all sorts of sexual violence. I always wished I could take matters into my own hands, but of course I had to wait for when it was right to do so. The last straw that broke the camel's back was when he did it to someone very dear to me. Her name was Susie. Susie was my best friend. Susie was the kind of friend everyone wishes they had. Loyal, kind, and someone who could always make you laugh even on your worst days. We met in the 5th grade, both new to the school, and instantly clicked. She was the girl who walked into the room and somehow made everything brighter. Her laughter was contagious, her smile wide, and she had a way of making everyone feel at ease. But what stood out the most was her heart, big enough to care about every single person around her. I remember the first time we really talked. It was during a group project, and I was sitting alone, not really knowing anyone. She came over, sat next to me, and asked if I wanted to team up. From that moment, we became inseparable. We spent countless hours together after school, studying, laughing, and even sharing the silliest secrets that we promised would never leave our circle. Susie was the kind of friend who would drop everything to help you. No questions asked. When I failed my math test, she didn't just offer to study with me. She created an entire study plan, breaking everything down in a way that even I could understand. It wasn't just schoolwork, though. Susie knew when I was upset even before I did. She'd show up with her favorite ice cream and we'd spend hours talking. Or sometimes we wouldn't say a word, just sitting together until I felt better. She had this dream of becoming a lawyer. I remember her telling me that she wanted to fight for the underdog, to speak for those who couldn't speak for themselves. Even at a young age, Susie had this fierce sense of justice. She would defend anyone who was being bullied and stood up for what she believed in, even if it meant standing alone. I admire that about her, the way she wasn't afraid to be different and to speak up when others would stay quiet. Then this mad fellow did the unthinkable to her. He violently had his way with my best friend, leaving her with major physical and emotional scars. He thought it was fun to slash her up, besides the internal medical issues. And of course the law wouldn't even look into it. It traumatized her for years with tons of medical problems, multiple reconstructive surgeries, and therapy. So I waited for a year. He thought it was a game, violent, cruel, and unforgivable. The law? It ignored her cries. The judge, his father, made sure he would never see the inside of a prison. My friend suffered for years with medical complications, with emotional scars that could never be healed. And yet, no one did anything. No one stepped in. Felt like the whole world had turned its back on her. I couldn't just stand by anymore. I had to do something. I watched him. I knew his every move. The way he walked from the bar every night, that dark alley behind the building where he always passed by, completely oblivious to the eyes on him. It wasn't just about revenge. It was about justice. I couldn't stand the thought of him continuing to destroy other lives, and I knew no one else would ever stop him. He was untouchable. So I made my decision. That night I would act. I didn't want to kill him. I just wanted him to understand. I wanted him to feel the pain, the helplessness he'd caused so many others. I waited, holding my breath as he came closer, unaware of the fate that awaited him. And then, as he walked by, I moved, swiftly and decisively. I waited by the dumpster that rainy night, and when he passed me I came up from behind and beat him with a lead pipe within an inch of his life. I didn't want to kill him, as I wanted him to live with the scars I was about to inflict for the rest of his life. I think I broke most the bones in his body and gave him permanent head damage. He never knew it was me, and I know he had so many people who had those same feelings. Could have been any one of 1,000 different people, but no one had the balls to stop him. The town is now a huge city. I see him once in a blue moon on a street corner in the wheelchair. I put him in for the rest of his life with his cardboard sign. Anything will help, God bless. But I know in my heart after what I did, he could never ever hurt another woman again in his pathetic life. I didn't want him dead. I wanted him to suffer. I wanted him to live with the consequences of his actions. I wanted him to be trapped in his own body, just as he had trapped the women he had hurt. And as I walked away, I knew I'd done something that nobody else had the courage to do. I never told anyone. No one knew it was me. He never knew it was me. But I saw him again, years later, sitting on that same street corner, a cardboard sign in his hand. Anything will help. God bless. And I couldn't help but feel something stir inside me. A small part of me felt guilty, but the bigger part of me knew I had done the right thing. When I see him now, I don't feel sorry for him. Not anymore. He has to live with what he's done. He will never hurt anyone again. And that, in some twisted way, makes me feel satisfied. I stopped him. He'll never be the same, and I did that. But even as I drive by, there's always that fleeting moment, a quick twinge of guilt. Was I wrong to take justice into my own hands? Did I go too far? Could there have been another way? I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I hadn't acted. Would he have continued to hurt people? Would my friend's pain have been for nothing? Could I have waited for the law to catch up to him? I don't think so. In my heart, I know what I did was the only way. They say that one day the karma will come back to me, that I will pay for what I did. But I ask myself, what could he have done to make up for all the damage he caused? How could he ever fix what he broke? Maybe I'll pay one day, maybe I won't. But what I know for sure is that he will never hurt anyone again. He will never take another life. And for that, I can't regret my actions. Sometimes justice isn't something you wait for. Sometimes it's something you make. I acted because no one else would. And now I carry that with me every day. I don't know if it was right, but I know it was necessary. Did I do the right thing? Was it justice or revenge? I don't have all the answers, but I do know one thing. He will never hurt another soul again. What do you think? Was it right to do what I did? Could you have stood by knowing what he was capable of? Let me know your thoughts. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous thing is waiting for justice to take its course. Thanks for watching to the end. We have loads of revenge stories coming your way. Make sure you don't miss any of my videos by subscribing to my new channel. See you in the next video.